Wherever you go, wherever you stay, don't you forget that love is always coming your way. No matter how far, how broken you are, don't you forget that love is always coming your way.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Grace Out Loud, our podcast for conversations you don't hear on Sundays, because Sundays are busy and there's a lot going on.
Yep.
I'm Katie Goss, he's Dom Bronico, and we are so excited that you're with us as we wrap up our second series, 2 series down.
Let's go. 2 series done.
We talked about the Christian journey, and we are ending it, episode 7 here, with modern Christianity. So we got through how it started, how it became a thing here now. We got to talk about our faith journeys and how personally we have traveled in our relationship with God. And now we're talking about modern Christianity and what it looks like to be a Christian in this day and age, with all the digital things and all the online services and all the distractions, and there's so much going on. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what the church looks like today. But first, I want to ask you another would you rather, which I think is our new thing.
This question has been hyped to me.
Would you rather?
I'm very interested.
I think it's fun. It's one of those ones you really gotta dig deep and think about. Okay, so would you rather? Also, I want to say that this isn't. Don't think about this from like a job standpoint, like, oh, I can't do my job if I don't have this. This is more just like if you didn't have to worry about
answering this in a vacuum.
Yes, okay, exactly, perfect. In a vacuum. So would you rather go a whole month without being able to use your phone?
Okay.
Or a whole year without being able to watch TV?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I would rather go a month without my phone. Mm-hmm. One, because I love TV. Yeah. It's like most of what I talk about.
I kind of knew you were going to say this too, because I know,
I kind of want to be off my phone for a month.
Yeah, if you're answering this in a vacuum you're like, well,
I'm like 2 on my phone.
What do I use my phone mostly for? Probably for work stuff. So do I need it? No.
What do you think? I want to hear what you think.
I don't think. I have a good reason for this though, actually. And because this isn't, it's in a vacuum, but it's not, because it's part of my everyday life. But my husband travels so much for work. He's always gone. He's always on the road. So the only way I feel like we maintain a relationship a lot of the time is through FaceTime, and is through phone calls, and is through texting. So if I went a whole month without being on my phone, I feel like I would never get to talk to him.
Yeah.
So I would say that I would choose to give up TV.
Okay.
But a whole year is absurd.
A year is long.
It's a really long time. I just don't think I could.
You would read a lot of books.
Oh my goodness. That's what I would do. I need to get back into reading more books. That would be a good way to do it.
Maybe this is what we both need.
Bottom line is neither of those things are happening, because like we mentioned, we live in the very digital world, and people are addicted to and rely on phones, TVs, and all other forms of technology 24/7. But it would be nice to at least do a cleanse at some point. Maybe we'll talk about that next Lent. All right, let's talk about the ways that faith has changed in terms of how practicing or expressing faith has maybe changed in this modern day, good, bad, whatever it is.
Yeah. There's this like poster out there, and it's for our kids ministry, and it chronicles the history of the church.
Okay.
And there's all these like cool art pieces, and then it gets to Acts, which is the book of the Bible where the church is like sent out, and then it gets to modern day. Yeah. And there's a symbol for Wi-Fi. And there's like all these people that and it's like I like think about that, and part of me is like, oh, like I don't like that like Wi-Fi is connected to the history of the church. But at the same time, there is also a much broader spectrum of how people are able to engage with faith. I met with a young adult who found Jesus because one night he was up late scrolling on YouTube, and just the algorithm put him into a like faith video, and he was like, maybe this is real, like, and that is where Jesus got a hold of him. And so like there's like good things to it, there's bad things to it.
Sure.
I definitely think most of our lives are like content driven. Like everything we do is about consuming content.
Yes.
So like the church is getting into that. We're producing content right now.
I'm a content creator.
We're doing it right now. So like
part of my job.
Yeah, there's some good stuff to that, but then there's also some negative things to that, right? There's also like, even just outside of Christianity, I mean, certain religions now have apps where you can like read the word of, we can read the Bible. You can read different scriptures that didn't used to be accessible,
Yes.
which is super interesting.
Yeah. I think one thing that stood out when I was kind of researching this question and thinking about it myself was, and again, this is something that really relates to what we do here being in digital ministry, but the idea that it's become more individualistic and people are now feeling like they don't need to seek out a church or go someplace, that they can have this whole relationship. And it's true, right? You can have a relationship with God without ever leaving your house. And it's wonderful because that's how God works. But at the same time, there's so much value into embracing a community, being a part of a church.
Yeah.
So how do we balance like the good things that come from knowing that you can access faith and be individual and be, on your own in it, but also knowing that you can grow in a lot of great ways by being part of other things.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think COVID, like we all had to, we all had to,
it was a new world.
Double down on the fact that the church is not a building.
Yes.
And then we all like came out of our, selective apartments and houses and we're like, oh, actually, we want to go back to the building.
But come back to the building still, even though it's not. But
I think that
we'd like to see you.
Yeah. I think that like it's a both and. Like I'm so glad that our church specifically learned that like we are so much more than a gathering place.
Yeah.
We're a people that are sent out. But like there's a lot of value in gathering with people and not just saying, okay, I'm going to watch something once a month from various different churches. And that's like how like it works for some people and that's fine. But I do think there's value in being part of a community.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I think about too with this is, and every church is different based on, what they're able to do with and what resources they have. But when you think about, us here at Grace, we have the ability to provide so many resources for so many things, and being part of this community gives you access to that. Thinking about the fact that we have a care and support ministry, right? Thinking about the fact that you have access to different pastors who will meet with you, who will steward you through challenges, who will, pray for you. You are not going to necessarily be able to get that the same way if you isolate yourself in your faith. So I think that's something else that maybe doesn't get thought of, but how important that is.
Agreed. Yeah.
I like it. All right, let's talk about the challenges of actually getting people to church though. Because another aspect, and this is something you dealt with working in, and being in connections, is people shop.
Yeah.
Nowadays you can literally be on Instagram, and I've gotten sucked into scrolling for one thing, and then next thing I know, I just purchased something because it's it's right there. It's that easy. We are a consumer driven society more than ever. Things get delivered to your house in less than a day thanks to Amazon, which I utilize. I admit that. But people are in this mindset now more than I think ever before of shopping for things and knowing that with the way you can scroll, there's, this is good, but if I keep scrolling, there might be something better.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge when you apply it to, being a church and trying to, get people to stick and wanting to be here, knowing that they're coming into it with this, well, what are you going to show me that's going to make me want to be here? Because there's other stuff out there and I'm always looking.
I think you said it very, very well. Like maybe like you did it. No. But like, it's the combined fact that we're so much busier than we were before.
Yes.
It seems like there's like every single person I know just has the most packed schedule. And so people are going to church less, not because they care less, but their schedules are filled up more and more. And then there is the reality that you can know what you're going to kind of get into before you step into the building of a church. So most people who are, checking out a church, whether they have attended church before or they haven't, they'll probably watch your service. I think that it's like 7 times before they come.
Oh, interesting.
And so like that does create kind of like a shopper mentality. And then like you expand that to our whole culture. It has a shopper mentality, and the church can sometimes feel consumeristic. And it's like, all right, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to go where I'm going to get the thing that I want. And there's some good stuff to that, right? Like
It pushes you internally to like always be thinking about, what you can bring people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's negatives too, because you don't want to be serving,
just your own
the one
wants
based
rather
on
than
wants
what you
and-
need.
yeah.
And I think there is something to be said about how if you're part of a Christian community, there is kind of like a sense of, hey, let's stick with this community and bear with each other's burdens, right? Like the Bible talks about that we bear with one another, we carry each other's burdens because we are all one. There's like this sense of unity.
Yeah.
And so I think that consumerism can kind of sideline that a little bit.
Yeah. From like as a pastor, when you think about, just finding ways, like, I think one challenge is just also the idea of wanting to cater to everyone, but also cater to the people who are here. And what are the challenges of, trying to cater to people who aren't currently in your building while still doing your best to serve the people who are?
Sure. So all churches face a point where they grow and they have people who are like, oh, we love this. This is great. And the question that every church will face at that point is, do we stay doing things for the people that we have gathered, or do we cast vision about the importance of being hospitable and loving and welcoming to the next person, the person who is not in the building yet?
Okay.
I read this book called Future Focused Church, which is a great book. It's mainly for like pastors, so the average person might not like it, but I think it's really good. Anyway, there's a story in it of this pastor who's like at this church and things are going well. And one of the elders looked at the pastor and said, I love the size our church is at right now. I hope nothing changes and we don't grow from here. And the pastor was like, oh man, I have made a mistake.
Yeah.
But there is kind of like this inflection point of like, okay, we have developed this community. Can we cast a compelling vision of why we love our community and we are going to continue to be this community, but we are not content to stay as we are. We are always going to be thinking of who is the next person who can come through our doors, who is the person who comes after me, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the difference between being an insider-focused church and an outsider-focused church.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Because it's really important to have a church that cares for, serves, and shepherds the people who have been there for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you also, like, you think about the goals and the visions of churches, right? It's to grow and to build disciples. And so you can't do that either without embracing some type of a mentality of bringing in new faces, of evangelizing. And
because part of discipleship is realizing, oh, it's not just about me growing. Once you have met Jesus and you're kind of on your discipleship journey, you hit a point where you're like, oh, it's actually about me bringing in the next person and finding the people who are not here yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, we mentioned this a little earlier. You talked about it and like the accessibility, but there have never been more apps for anything than ever before. There's like, now if I try to go shopping, I'll go to a website and it'll say, oh, great. But you know what? If you download our app and then you buy it in the app and then you get a discount, but only if you buy it in the app.
And then I have a million passwords.
And there's so many apps. I mean,
track.
we have a Grace Chapel app, right?
We have a Grace Chapel
and
app.
apps can be very useful.
You should download our app.
You should download our app. But apps can be great. They can also be overwhelming. And the challenge with apps is they live on your phone.
Yeah.
And what else is on my phone? All the other things that distract me. Have you ever fallen into the trap of you'll be like, I'll be on Instagram and I'll close Instagram and then I'll just open it back up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, I remember
Why did I do that?
Well, I remember like when I was a kid, because like I got a phone when I was like 12 or 14, I forget. But didn't get social media till high school. But like there was a point where you got to the end. Like I was like, okay, no one I know has posted anything else.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The end of the timeline.
And I was like, I have to be done.
I missed that.
But like you can never get through all of it now. You can keep scrolling forever.
Well, because for a while, social media was specifically geared towards your own personal friends. And it was like when your friends stopped posting, now it's just the For You, the For You tab.
Page, the content, it's ads and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and everything's an ad. And now every app you can buy stuff on.
I could just get on
TikTok
my soapbox
shop.
now. Yeah.
But the point being that there are these great apps. I have the Bible app on my phone. I get alerts throughout the day with different verses, or it'll be like a reminder to pray. And that's really great because it forces me to just, if nothing else, if I even just look at the notification and then I dismiss it, I still had that thought. It made me think about God, even for a millisecond. But again, they're on your phone. So is there a happy medium? Like, what are the challenges to the goodness that comes with more people having access to things like a Bible app if they don't have a physical Bible, but also knowing that there's so much else that lives on there.
It's a both and for sure. And like, I am not an expert. I can only share like examples of good and bad, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can
and we've
too.
all experienced them.
Yeah. I think one example of good is, so I volunteer in our student ministry. And at the beginning of the year, Akash, who leads the high school ministry, he said, we're all going to read the Bible in a year. I fell off. I
have tried and failed as well.
But what's cool is if you're in like a group on the Bible app, you can like comment and people see you comment.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'll see the students like this person highlighted something and this person commented and like, here's what I thought about today's reading.
Well,
and I'm like,
wonderful.
It's so cool.
I didn't know you could do that either.
I didn't know that either.
These
so
kids.
all the students are like commenting and it's like, oh, they're reading together. And it even encourages me. I'm like,
that's
really
oh my
gosh,
cool.
I need to get on my Bible reading. So that's like a good example. And like my wife, Cindy, she does the verse of the day.
Yes.
And what she'll do is she'll read the verse of the day and then she'll just keep reading. And so there's a lot of like really good things that these that apps and our phones have to offer. The issue is like there's so many good things that it has the possibility of pulling our attention at all times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like that. I mean, again, it's like you can't say it's a bad thing because it makes you think about God even for just a moment. And I love the idea that you mentioned with the kids reading together, because that was something else that when I was looking into this entire topic, was the importance of church, and one pillar of that was accountability.
Yeah.
So there's the accountability of that sense of like physically showing up if you have a group of friends and they're going to be there, so you want to see them and you want to be there. So there's that accountability, but I never really took it to the point of thinking about the accountability of like the digital world of, I see that they're reading this and I don't want to, I don't want to not be able to comment. So I better do the reading too. Or I saw that they were doing it. I want them to know that I'm also on there. Yep. So that's really neat. That's really unique. All right. Well, we have really good conversations coming up about this topic. And I want to take a second to give a little teaser. So our retired pastor, Brian Wilkerson, will be joining us for our next episode. And that was kind of why this was a perfect segue. Yep.
And it was awesome. It was great.
Because we dive even further into the conversation of what are people specifically looking for when they do get through those doors? What do they want when they get to church? Yeah. And he gives us a really unique perspective, having gone and visited different churches. He spoke to us as a staff, and we were so moved by it that we brought him on to have this special episode. So that will be coming soon. So everything that you liked about what we talked about today takes even greater form and is really highlighted and really expanded upon when we chat with Pastor Brian. So that does it for this episode of Grace Out Loud. But we are leaving you with plenty to look forward to. So make sure to keep watching, to subscribe if you haven't, to throw us a like, whatever you can do to support our podcast, because we've got lots more that we want to bring you, and it's all going to be great. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Katie, he's Dom, and we'll see you next episode.